Hello everybody and welcome back to Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 March of the Minis. So, in the last part we took care of Donkey Kong in the floor of Pipeworks, and we finished up the first three levels of Magnet Mania. Now for this one we are most likely now if I do manage to finish up the rest of the levels on this floor, then we are probably gonna get into the actual boss fight on this floor as well. But anyways, now for this level, yeah, we once again have some magnetic blocks, and we also have a few swing bars, and we even have a singular. Wait, yeah, I think there's a singular blue spring. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. There is only one. Now I feel like I want to make sure I could get one mini Mario at least to get himself over the over there. Before I even think about doing anything else. Anyways, okay, now I just want to make sure now we're good to go with it. Wait, how do you do this again? Crap. Oh, wait. Right, I need to get this mini Mario to there. Right, I'll remember that. But anyways, now as I'm just gonna go for this level, now there is something that I can't talk about now. Is that, now even though Mario, the real Mario himself, doesn't really do all that much this time around. Although, and even though that we have heard him say, way to go, whenever you finish off a level, whenever you have the mini Marios, whenever you have all of the mini Marios when you have all of the mini Marios enter the door. But however, that is not the only time. But however, that is not the only line that Mario gets. Well, you see, everyone, now when you enter exit from the sleep mode, onto your DS. That's when Mario will say at least one line, as you exit/enter sleep mode. All right, but this. Okay, now before I get to that, first, now starting with this level, we get ourselves introduced to this enemy. We get ourselves introduced to, I'm sure, this enemy. I believe he's called the Magnet Sparky. Now, as you saw from that little block that he came out of, now that will always be that Magnet Sparkies respawn point. Now that is when the Magnet Sparky will always respawn. Now, as you'll see here, yeah, even though you can actually get rid of him when the Magnet Sparkies are attached to the magnetic blocks. But as you saw, even if you do, then the Magnet Sparky will always respawn no matter what. So now, I guess, so essentially now you can try your best to make sure that the Magnet Sparkies does not getting away. But however, it's just that you cannot get rid of them entirely. Yeah, it's just that these guys will always. It's just that these guys will always. It's just that these guys will always will respawn. But anyways, but anyways, everyone. Now, back to what I was saying. Now, there are actually 4 lines that Mario says whenever you enter exit of sleep mode. Now when you enter sleep mode, he'll either say he'll either say hey now come back here you hey come back here you big monkey not again I love this game. Yeah. But anyways, now then when you exit sleep mode, he'll either say, "What's up? Okie dokie. Here we go again. Sure, let's play again." Yep. Yeah, and those are really the only lines that Mario will ever say in this whole entire game. Oh yeah, and also this feature was re-implemented in the next 2 Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. In the next 2 Mario vs. Donkey Kong games that were released after this. But anyways, everyone, as you can see, now starting with this level, we get ourselves introduced to the next Donkey Kong toy, the Cool Cons. Now, as you'll see, now you can either have the Mini Mario right on. Now you can have the Mini Marios not only hop on their they can hop on their heads, but also as you've been seeing, now if you actually have the Mini Marios grab onto its tie, then Cool Con's body will shrink. Yeah, and as you saw with that Cool Con over to the right, now that's when you can actually have the Cool Cons actually go travel underneath a platform, so that they cannot get us access to normally. So yeah, you're definitely gonna want to be maneuvering not only their heads but also their ties. Yeah, just so you can get just so you can get the Mini Marios to get to where you actually. So you can have the Mini Marios get to where you actually want them to go. But anyways, as you can see, yeah, well, I was trying my best to get the perfect chain combo with that one, but I could only jump up like 2 Mini Marios at a time with that swing with that swing bar. Yeah, that surely is unfortunate. Yeah, I only got silver. For that. Now I guess since we are just gonna be going through the rest of the stages at this point. Yeah, and since some of them may take us some time before we even get to the actual boss fight itself. Now, as for other things that I could bring up at this time, now, I guess I can bring up, the options. I guess I can bring up the options. I guess I can bring up all the stuff that you can do in the options menu. Now you have the option to play the audio, which you can obviously adjust the game settings, after you clear the main story, then you can not only hear every single music track in this game, but also the sound effects as well too. And then the next option is called the showroom, where you can not only watch the cutscenes, where you can not only watch the cutscenes, the cutscenes again, and you can also look at the gallery of the pictures that we haven't seen so far in this game. Now, what you've been seeing so far, like say for example, now for whenever we defeat a Donkey Kong on the floor, that's when we can actually get ourselves a glimpse at a picture of the mini Marios. Yeah, that counts towards as a gallery pick. And you can also watch the credits again if you want to. Now, and there is also a thing called the title. Yeah, you can also do. Now, this is something that I'm probably not gonna mess around with, considering that, yeah, it requires for you to do a whole lot more than you would expect. Yeah, you see. Now you can act now for when you go to the title screen of this game. Now you may have saw a bunch of like mini Marios that were walking walking across the bottom of the top screen. Well, you see, that little feature can actually be changed. But however, if you want to be able to do that, yeah, it requires you to get a certain number of stars. So it requires you to get a certain number of stars within the game. When you get at least when you get all 80 bronze stars in the game, that's when you can have the mini Marios, and that's when you can have the mini Marios be changed into mini Toads. And if you manage to get all 80 silver stars, then you can have for a mini Peaches. And if you manage to get every single all 80 gold stars, that's when you can have for a Donkey Kong's walking by. Yeah, which again is something that I'm probably not gonna be able to show off, considering as you've been seeing so far in this game, I'm not exactly gonna get every bronze, silver, or gold star within this whole game. So, excuse me. So unfortunately, this is something. So unfortunately, that's something that I'm not gonna be able to show off that much. But anyways, now what you've been seeing in this level, yeah, we get the return of the shuttle. We get the return of the return of the donut blocks. What? Hey! Oh, really? Both of them had to collide at the same time as soon as they were right near the door. Oh, come on, really? They were right there too. But they had to just walk right into each other as soon as they got to the door. Oh, really? Oh, god freaking damn it. Oh man, why does that happen, man? Why did he have to have the mini Marios walk, bounce up off of each other as soon as they were about to enter the door? Oy. Oh yeah, that's right. Now for this last level for this floor. Yeah, we once again have the return of the Thwomps. Yeah, so once again we have to keep in mind of where the to make sure that the Thwomps do not not squishy whatsoever. Yeah. But anyways, everyone, now, from back to what I was saying. Now, also in the options menu, you can either, you can actually register. There's a thing called register, where you can register where players can register their name as it appears in the construction zone and the Wi-Fi connection. Oh yeah, and there's also a thing called a single card, where you can a demo version of the game can be sent to another DS without the game card. Meaning that, which of course means other players can at least be able to experience what the game is like without even having to buy it. Yeah, that's definitely something that you could actually do without. Yeah, before we got to the eShop mechanic of today. Yeah. But anyways, now I guess since we are just about done with this place. Yeah, and especially after messing around with the mini Marios here, just so I can make sure I can get all of them towards the top here. Yeah, so then I can at least be able to get all of them towards the door. Now, I guess I should also explain about the actual controls of this game. Now, as I said previously, while the majority of the gameplay, you're gonna be using your stylus to do basically the majority of everything. But you can also use the control pad to scroll around the level, and you can also do the same thing with the actual buttons. Which, I don't get why they chose to do that, when the control pad works just as well with that. Yeah, I don't know why you would need to use the buttons to essentially scroll, to essentially scroll around the level. Yeah, I don't get why they chose to do that. And then, you can press the start or select buttons to pause the game, or you can also use that to exit out of Shotgun Smash as well too. And you can also use the left and and right triggers to activate the boss cannon indicator. Yeah, meaning that you can actually get a good glimpse of where the mini Marios are going to go. Just before you are about to fire. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother using that ever, considering it's honestly doesn't really mean that much for me, really. Yeah. But anyways, everyone, as you can see, yeah, I definitely had to restart this one. Yeah, considering that I was trying my best to make sure that I got all the mini Marios across without getting ourselves crushed, without essentially getting ourselves destroyed by the spikes. Okay, now I just need to get one more over there, and then now I just make sure I can get all these guys together. So then I can, so then I can essentially bring all four of them to the door. But anyways, now I guess since we're just about done here, I guess I should say about my overall thoughts on this floor's music. Well, I mean, what else can I say? It is essentially the same underground music that we've been hearing a bunch of video games at this point. But it's not that I hate it at all. It's just, yeah, as I said previously, if you have heard it once, you've heard it everywhere. But anyways, okay. Now once again, we're gonna get through this little mini game. Now, oh yeah, that's right. And I guess I should point this out right now. Now, clearing this mini game is not required for you to complete the now clearing this mini game is not required for you to beat the base game. Yeah, you can actually you can actually avoid these if you don't want to. It's just that you might be losing out on maybe going for like construction zone pieces and whatnot. But anyways, everyone. Now as for the now we're gonna get ourselves into the actual boss fight of Magnet Mania. Now this boss fight works very similar to the tropical turmoil / island boss, where instead of dropping coconuts at Donkey Kong, this time we have to drop the donut blocks on him. And and at the same time, now instead of going left to right, Donkey Kong is currently swinging. Yeah, meaning that if you wanna now, even though as I said with the previous fight, is that now like I said before about the turmoil / islands boss, where you can actually do like a bank shot at Donkey Kong without even needed to either be able to land the donut blocks or the coconuts or the coconuts on him. It's just that it's definitely a lot more difficult this time, considering that Donkey Kong is constantly swinging. Yeah, meaning that for the most part, you are most likely going to be hitting, which means for the most part, you are most likely going to be hitting the spikes that are underneath the platform that he's on. Yeah, so honestly, if you want to have yourself a chance to be able to beat this, to be able to pass through this one, honestly, just like go for the donut blocks. Oh yeah, that's right. And I guess I should point this out too. Now, unlike the coconuts, where they can still potentially hurt the mini Marios if the coconuts just happen to miss him. However, for this one, the donut blocks do not go past the top screen. So yeah, all you really have to worry about are the spikes. But as everyone, now we reach the next floor, Lava Land. Oh boy, this one's sure gonna be something. And so, until the next part, I'll see you guys next time.